Whoa, we're back with some Bleach Soul Resonance, and I thought it'd be time to take a little roundup. Again, we're in the filler arc right now, of course we are, because we're just waiting on White Ichigo to come out. So, you know, we're doing some little informational videos, doing some videos talking about the state of Bleach, talking about, you know, little updates here and there, ticky-tack updates that aren't like super gameplay imperative. Come get your guides, come get your etc, etc. So, if you'd like to hear those, you know, I'll be over on the second monitor today. You know, you don't gotta look. I'll be on the second monitor. You do it. What are you doing over there? What is that? Is that TFT? You're playing that terrible TFT pack? Whatever, man. You go ahead. Since you love Mort Dog so much. We got Bleach Soul Resonance. So I didn't even read it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Kiku says BSR remained in the top CN gacha charts from May 15th to the 23rd. Safe to say Half-Anni treated them well. Doba is enjoying his yacht retreat. So here we see Bleach Soul Resonance at number 15. Number 16, and we get to see Fate Grand Order slightly behind over there. We can see Fate Grand Order at 16 now. That's March, right? So that's Honkai? Is that Honkai? Is that like supposed to be their like third anniversary or something going on? Pretty sure that's March. I cannot remember. No shade to anyone who loves Hoyoverse, Hoyo stuff. A lot of the characters do sort of blend together though. Like they got Blade and Ryothisly or whatever his name is. Aren't they from both from Hoyo games? They kind of look the same. Genshin characters all have the same fucking like model for some reason. I don't know why. They refuse to make big guys. We got Uma Musume here next to Bleach, which is again pretty good. I mean, big hitters, right? Big hitters. This is Zenless, right? This is Zenless because that's God, what is her name? All these characters have such stupid names. It's like it's like A. It starts with an A, doesn't it? I don't know. She's a maybe it's not even her. Maybe it's just another example of Hoyoverse loves making the same character over and over again. But yeah, so we got BSR among pretty elite competition in China, which is very good news for the total health of the game. I mean, otherwise, what are some of the bigger like games that we'd probably see on here at the very tippity top? I know Naruto CN does extremely well, so like I said, I think this has been a pretty you know, solid celebration. A lot of these games are years into development, 7 years, 8 years. You know, Uma Musume's been around for forever. The Hoyo games have all been around for years at this point. So, good signs for Bleach, especially being a very free-to-play IP. A lot of those games, I mean, like Uma Musume, like, where is it? Uma is not a very free-to-play friendly game. You have to do a lot of saving and waiting on banners, and the whales have a defined and very huge advantage. So to be keeping up in numbers somewhere with Uma, where people are like spending, and it's a waifu game. Ain't no dudes in Uma. It's just a waifu game, so pretty good. Next, and by the way, we're gonna before I scroll down here. Before I truly scroll down here, I would like to issue a warning. If you have not read Bleach, I'm going to be reading through this because I have read Bleach. I read it when I was younger. I'm the anime TYBW coming back is not a surprise to me. TYBW being around, nothing is a surprise to me in TYBW. I mean, obviously they have changed a few things, but ultimately I've seen these characters. I've been here before. If you have not, we may be seeing quite a bit of spoiler content here. So viewer discretion is advised. I'll try not to linger on it. I'll try not to be like, oh, that's this from there. I'm just going to look through and, you know, so on. So if you do not want to be spoiled, potentially, please do not, you know, proceed. I do always put timestamps in these videos, or at least I try to remember to. If so, there will probably be my next talking point, which I wanted to go over a banner desire I want coming in the future that isn't related to any particular character and is just related to you know, the formatting of banners. So the survey made its way to SEA asking which characters we would like to see. The full questions in the image below. Notably new characters on this list are TYBW Aizen, Yuryu from TYBW, Tsukishima, Senjumaru. So it should be Tsukishima right here, right? Yeah. And then Senjumaru. Ichibe. Ah, man, this guy is cool. Oh my god, when they pop off with this guy. If they get his animation styles right with the ink effects, oh, this could be cinema. This guy could be cinema. Senjumaru is going to be interesting. I don't remember her doing much at all in the manga, but I do believe they wrote a little more for her to actually do in the anime. Jugram, of course. Man, Jugram is cold as hell too. Such a cool character. Fused Zangetsu. This is such a good design. Fused Zangetsu, I would imagine though, is probably like, could Fused Zangetsu come out and not be like an anniversary, half anniversary character? I don't think so. I think this is a money character. People like Zangetsu too much. True Shikai Ichigo. I think that if we saw Zangetsu, or not Zangetsu, if we saw a TYBW character that was an Ichigo soon, I actually believe it would be dual Zangetsu slash Shikai Ichigo. This would be the perfect time for, because like, one, his visual style is different, so it wouldn't just be Ichigo again in the sort of expected Shinigami robes. Two, it's early enough that it's not like, oh, they're blowing the TYBW, budget. They're like, they're not saving anything hype. Three, and I've said this during the podcast I did with Aaron and Giku, but we need more Ichigos because he's Goku for Bleach fans. You know what I mean? I've talked about this before. Ichigo is not really one of my favorite shonen protagonists. Nothing against him. It's just that Tite Kubo writes so many cool characters that in Bleach I end up gravitating towards those characters rather than strictly like Ichigo, right? So it's just one of those things where it's like, if you put a billion cool characters in the game, it's kind of like I watch JJK, and JJK reminds me a lot of Bleach in so many ways. In myriad ways, JJK and Bleach are very similar. And one of them is this phenomenon for me, which is that I think JJK ends up being the most fun when there's a focus on the other characters a lot of times. Like Yuta is really interesting. Todo is really interesting. Todo makes Yuji a much more fun character to watch. Hikari is very cool. Though not exactly a character to like focus on, but Hikari is very cool. Geto and Gojo are obviously very interesting, especially during their younger days. I think is a much better look into their characters. Who are like others? Nobara, even I would say that the Nobara is a pretty fun character in JJK until but I liked a lot of what they were going for with like her past and her connection to like that older sister figure in her life. I don't know, it's very cool. They also included characters from the manga final part of 2IBW, all the hype moments, but I don't want to spoil anyone on that. If you haven't read the manga portion of 2IBW, I recommend do not answer the survey. I took a video a couple of minutes long that shows a bunch of different options every time I reset it. Feel free to watch and see, which I didn't add to the list. Here is the part where I say, if you have not seen the anime, please do not proceed, or not read the manga, please do not proceed. This is the spoiler portion. I will be going through this. Just, viewer discretion is advised, all right? Viewer discretion is advised. So, multiple choice, Arabelle and Yamamoto. God. I think that they should add multiple Yamamotos, by the way. Unarmed versus one device. Shikai and Bankai are all possibilities. I do not think you can get an unarmed and Bankai in one go. They can definitely make multiple Yamamotos, so I cannot wait for that. Harabelle Yamamoto. We see Stark and Quilg. This guy over here is, I would really like this guy as well, like earlier rather than later. I mean, he's one of the characters that is fought pretty early in TYBW, so I think when we see him, or when we start getting into TYBW stuff, I expect him very early. Maybe we get like a you know, the Beast Girls, the Chimera Girls as well, and they summon their dad. I don't remember if that's actually their dad, by the way. I just calling him their dad, but we'll get dad. We'll get dad. Ichigo Kurosaki, Dual Zangetsu, or Kisuke Yudahara. Such a cool Kisuke Yuda. The thing about Kisuke is because he is wearing that shit. Like, Kisuke has got that shit on. Yudahara has got that shit on. So when they show Yudahara, like, I'm excited. If they put another Yudahara in the game, I'm excited immediately because he is always wearing that shit. He's the reason that, like, or that's the reason that I had him as my, like, character avatar in game for so long. I love Yudahara's design. He's so cool. Yumichika or Hiyori, they need to add her after a Shinji. I mean, why would they add her first? I definitely think that this guy has the potential to be cool. I mean, he's kind of like an SR plus SR unit, if I'm honest, for a lot of the show. But I mean, I wouldn't hate him being in, right? I mean, being an SSR, especially as like a support. He has a weird weapon that could make him like a strike character because of his funky weapon. But she needs to be in like pretty like sooner rather than later, right? Because like I think the Vizareds are just Vizards. I don't know how it's pronounced. Like genuinely, I cannot recall how it's called. But she needs to be in sooner rather than later. I think all of them do, you know. But I think more characters that pull the mask down and transform would be cool in the game. Yahabak, however you want to pronounce it, and Yuhabak. Oh, and Irukia with her Bankai. I am all in on Bankai Rukia being the character we get when it is revealed, or when the 2IBW character is revealed. I think that this is going to be our like 2IBW character. Someone on Twitter went through the science. They said every one of these fucking games has gotten 2IBW Rukia. And I went, you know what? That feels like a pattern, and it feels like what these dev companies do. Because what ends up happening is the IP says, okay, you can do a character here, this character. And if they're going to do it over and over and over like this, then in my head, it means that the IP is going, we want Rukia to be the Bankai, to be the 2IBW character you use when you get a chance to. So I think it's going to be Rukia, actually. And I think she's going to be a replacement for Aizen. And it is my hope that she's a replacement for Aizen with Toshido and not just a flat replacement for Aizen. We already have Suifun, but this is obviously, she's got the arm guards on, so, and also the red background with 2IBW. Stark, untransformed, sick as hell. Hopefully he brings his Gangi with him. Tsukishima is before, Ichiba is before. Kensai is so fucking cool. Kensai is actually the like #1 strike character that needs to show the fuck up, man. He does. They could make a Kensai, they need to not just make him 2IBW. They need to make him Shikai, and then they need to make him like 2IBW, because he could do both. I hope they don't just like use one and then never come back to him. This character's sick. Toshido as well, Hitsugaya when he's all grown up. Sick as hell looking. My favorite Toshido personally, my favorite Hitsugaya. A lot of people's favorite Hitsugaya. He looks super sick. I cannot wait for this character to show up. Shinsui, I mean, I don't even need to say it. Shinsui is arguably my favorite Bleach character. I love the idea that, because actually I got asked by my partner, they asked me like, why is Shinsui like such a wacky looking character in Bleach when everyone just kind of has like the same stuff on? And like the idea that he's just carrying all these things with him from the people he's outlived. He has this like survivor's guilt. I think this is actually one of Tite Kubo's like, because Bleach is a bit of an aura manga, right? We all kind of get that, right? We're here because of the hype moments in aura when it comes to Bleach, and I think Tite Kubo does those very, very well. So in the case of like Shinsui, where he's like a character that sort of just, you know, hints at his like survivor's guilt, I think it's very fun, and I think he's just super sick looking. Renji needs an SSR. I don't know. I mean, I get why this character is an SR. He's not like, you know, Roar Zabimaru and then lose is like classic, so I get it. I hope he gets an SSR though. Hitsugaya in the Fullbring arc. you know, I'm not gonna do too many. I mean, there's 20 minutes, or there's 3 minutes of this. I'm not just gonna go through the entire video. I'm probably going to pause and skip around. We do need a Sato though, so let me pause and just see if there's anyone interesting. So I think this one's actually like worth coming back to. So Ichigo in the Fullbring arc, again, I think they need to add more Ichigos, especially Ichigos that are wearing different things. That's one of the nice things about having a main character, a protagonist character in the game, is you'll probably get the most amount of just different fits. Think of the solo leveling gacha or mobile game or whatever, where Sun Woo, right, is his name? Sun Woo? I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me in the comics, of course. I don't mind. He has like all of these different outfits, you know, all these different fits because he's the protagonist. He has different classes. Byakuya does need a proper SSR. It is staggering to me. It is staggering to me that Byakuya ended up getting like bitched as far as the SSRs went. We have free-to-play SSR Ikaku, Tosin, Komomura, and Yodahara, and I think those all, respectfully, as someone who loves Tosin, I think Tosin is a really cool character. I love his arc, even when he becomes a freaky ass bug. I think respectfully, Tosin is the kind of character that can be a free-to-play SSR, if we're honest. Especially when you compare him to Gin and Aizen, who go on to do much more important things, right? Byakuya is not that character. No way. I think Byakuya, before Aizen was really revealed and all that, Byakuya was kind of the final boss of Bleach for a little bit. Like early Soul Society Bleach, where, you know, he's fighting Ichigo and stuff. Senbon Sakura, like, floating around and like forming that cage around him. That's insanely iconic. And maybe at this point, if you're a later Bleach fan, you're kind of looking at that moment as like, oh, this is like when the Dragon Ball fans get hyped up. But I don't know. Is anyone else, if you made it to this point, you know, shout out in the comments. Byakuya kind of felt like the final boss for a little bit, right? Like he had the most like aura in really early. It was him and Kenpachi for sure, right? Him and Kenpachi, because Kenpachi was like this brute, and then Byakuya was like this civil, like, you know, executioner. So you had the savage Kenpachi who was just gonna like come beat you to death and was stronger than everybody else, and then you had like this civil executioner Byakuya who was sort of like ineffable, like infallible, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just my like read on it. I'm gonna skip around. Let's just see a few more. Ishin, I could do. I want Ishin obviously as an SSR. Like obviously, I mean he's his dad. I could do without him right now. We have a lot of important characters. Omaida, perfect SR support for Strike. Byakuya again. Lisa, I'd be down to see sooner rather than later. The reason I want like the Vizareds, and again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing Vizareds or whatever. The reason I want to see them in is because they make the perfect monthly squad. Shinji is our big celebration character. Maybe in like a, I don't know when it would be. Essentially, it was like just like a Chinese celebration or something. Not quite anniversary, maybe half anniversary, but bring in his Gengi. His Gengi are all perfect monthly like filler characters. Like, oh, you know, we had Mayuri and we had Soifon. Bring in Lisa. Bring in, you know, non-TYBW Kensai. Bring in the girl who's super sick and is a Kamen Rider, whose name I always forget. Kira's another good monthly. I think he deserves to be like an SSR. Kugo Ginjo is another good monthly. He's another one that could easily be an SSR, I think. Let's see if we get one more reset and then we'll end. We'll end on one more reset. So survey. This is Giku in game, by the way. Thank you, Giku. Kenpachi Bankai, I mean, duh. Yunohana, I mean, duh. It's hard for me to imagine Hogyoku Aizen not being like anniversary or something. I don't think they could just make this guy, because they could do the thing where he transforms like 2 or 3 times, and then maybe my idea for Aizen, take from Rebirth of Souls. He starts out as one thing, and then as he goes through the fight, he transforms like 2 or 3 times, and then that third transformation, he's God. Like he's like like he gets insanely boosted stats. I think that would be really cool. Shunsuin is the original series, yeah. Like I said, last few. Mugetsu is going to be in the game. Oh! Cinema! Mugetsu Hogyoku Aizen Anniversary. Mwah! Woo! It would be so good. It would be so, so good. We already kind of have an idea that like Vastalord could end up being the anniversary character, but there's literally no reason that we can't get 3 or 4 characters during the span of anniversary, right? Because we're getting 3 characters for Half-Anni. And anything else here interesting? Renji. Oh, Shinji. Okay. This character needs to be in the game. Shinji, I would say, has multiple forms that could be hype, but just get the gang in the game. Just get them in the game. I think everyone is down for transforming like mask on characters. I think it literally just makes them hyper, right? Like all of the like mask pull downs, you know, like how Bankai Ichigo does the mask pull down and then the scream. They would all look so good. They would all look so good. It would be hard to sort of like realize his power because his power is very cerebral, but who cares? Anything else? Shikai. Okay, let's end it there. Let's end it there. Let's pipe up. So the final thing I just want to talk about is that at some point I do, and it's going to be a really quick note, but at some point I do want a banner with multiple premium SSRs on it. I saw this in the Bleach Soul Resonance Reddit. I don't want multiple new premium SSRs on it, but I want a way to pull on like a standard-esque gacha system with it. I think at some point they should do reduced cost. So like instead of 10 tickets, it's 5 tickets for a 10 pull. Reduced cost premium banners. For sure. I think, or maybe it's like reduced cost premium banner and it's like you get like, I don't know, you get like 10 go-arounds. So the first 10 go-arounds, it's half off. And then it becomes like regular. And it's all of the SSRs that we've gotten so far. And I think it'd be a good way to bait out dupes and boundaries. And I think that'd be cool. I think it'd be really cool if there was a banner with like, in the future, with like Aizen and Kenpachi on it. And maybe even Nellel or something. And if you get any of those dupes, you're super happy. Even if you have other characters, if you get an Aizen dupe or you get a Kenpachi dupe, you'd be stoked. It wouldn't really matter that, you know, it's not like a selected thing. But what I don't ever want is 2 new SSR characters on the same banner. That should never happen. It should, even if they were to run 2 new SSRs at the same time, it should just be one and then the other. It should be like this. With shared pity and all that. I never want them on the same banner, but I would love to start getting special rerun banners. I don't know, like it's 1600 to pull for a 10 pull, so it'd be 800. That's so value. That's so value for dupes, man. So value. But that's it. A little bit of a rambly one. I had a little too much fun looking at the new characters it could be. I will do the survey when it shows up on global. I'm sure it will eventually. It's just taking time. But yeah, I've been Lone. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club. We'll go make it. And peace.